So how to thin your paint for the airbrush. So for this, you will need a brush. Now this is a shade brush. Is this the, I don't know. I managed to erode the size, but it's the normal Citadel shade brush. Any big brush will do. We are going to need some thinner. This is Vallejo airbrush thinner. A little pot for mixing in. I'm not doing it inside the brush today. When I go to do Ragnar, I will be, but for now, and for these ones I didn't, inside the cup. Next thing we need is our paint. So this is straight up the Fang. I haven't done anything to this pot apart from use it a little bit. So what we need to do is shake it up. So what we're going to do is quite simply pop the pot, curse under our breath about the quality of those pots. You want your brush to be dry to do this, so just drop a blob in the bottom of your cup. And I'm only doing one model, so I don't need that much paint. That's probably too much. But I'm just going to hold the brush between my teeth, and we are going to apply just a few drops of thinner. So that can't be much past a 1-to-1 ratio. And we're just going to mix that up. Now you'll see that it coats the container reasonably well. So just keep mixing that up. And once you're happy that you've got it nicely mixed with the thinner, don't waste any paint. And wash your brush off. Close your paint. Knock your model over. And then we just... That's the drawback to doing it in the cup. But you can see we don't have much in there, and we don't need much. Now to test how thin your paint is, I like to use the back of my hand. So a little bit of air and pull it back, and you see. Let me just change the focal point so you can actually see my finger on the trigger as well. There we go. So you'll see the back of my hand. I'll just do it slightly above that spot, and you'll see that the paint comes out. Hopefully you can see there that the paint's coming out almost semi-dry is the best way to describe it. It's not coming out wet. Now if I yank the trigger back, you see where that spider web's there, see where it blows the wet paint around. That's the way I like mine. So a little bit of paint, a little bit of finger back. I mean, hopefully you can see how much, you know, I'm moving my finger as I do that. I'm really not pulling it back a lot. I like my paint very wet in the cup, so very, very thin, because then when I'm painting over the model, keep the brush moving and just don't focus on any area, just keep going. You can come back and get the bits you've missed, that's not really a problem. And a little bit of paint does go quite a long way. I'm probably not going to have enough to do the entire model with this, but not after spraying my hand like that. Getting a bit carried away, but this is our initial layer. So you'll also note that I'm working at this from below quite a lot. Let me just give you a bit better background here. Hopefully you'll be able to see. So the things to concentrate on here are my trigger finger and the fact that the brush isn't lingering over any particular part of the model. Because remember, if you linger and blast it out, the paint won't dry and you will get this spidering effect. Whereas what we want is a nice thin layer of paint, and we're slowly building it up. That's what the airbrush gives you. You really can build the paint up super slowly. Have I used all that already? Nope. Bit of a clog or a dry tip or something. So if you notice you're not getting anything out, check the brush, and then, you know, on your bit of paper, squirt a little bit out just to keep it going. It does happen, the tip dries all the time. I mean, hopefully you can see there's a little bit of dried paint on it. It's the only thing I don't like about this brush. I'm actually tempted to buy another needle cap and grind it down so that it's completely flush. I really like the one on the Infinity, but I can't afford the Infinity right now, and with 3 out of the 6 Christmas boxes catching my eye. And it's not the toy one, surprisingly. I've got pretty much all the toy I need for now. If it had had a storm surge in it, I would have been tempted. I've already got one, like, but you know, I kind of want to have a go at building one with arms. But if you keep turning the model, you know, you don't need to move your airbrush around, you know. That's why I like them on the corks. It gives me a good range of motion I can turn them through to make sure I get everything I need to get. But this is just how you apply a single layer of color. Now, highlights, I'll do another video where you do highlights. It's the same idea of mixing the paint, but more, I mean, getting your base layer down is it's a bit more tricky, but it's, you know, the highlights are I find more fun to do because that's when it really brings it out. I mean, you can see how fast that was. And this will be the same no matter what way you're really wanting to start or to do your whole painting. So for example, with Ragnar, I won't be mixing it in the little shot glass. I will be mixing it in the paint cup of the airbrush. And then I'll be doing colour blending in the airbrush too. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you always get that bit of a clog, and you just need to sometimes just, if that happens, you notice nothing coming out, just do that. Do that a couple times and it usually clears it, but it happens no matter what you're doing. Sort of get used to it. Just remember to move your model out of the way because it's very frustrating. You also notice you will get a point where you get a nice layer. You'll get a nice layer on your model and you'll think to yourself, okay, I'm done. But you keep going and you'll notice the color will get stronger. So we can take advantage of that for highlights. Once you get your first base down, now you can sort of hold the model and knock him over a few times and let the highlights build up even with your base layer. Because it went on over black undercoat, you will notice, maybe not so much in this because I've gone quite heavy, but so I think that's pretty much him. That's fairly opaque. So hopefully you can see there's not a lot even on his face. You can, if you're careful, you won't get that much overspray. You'll obviously get some, it's unavoidable really, but you know, there's no reason why you need to get everything. I mean, you could be a bit gung-ho and just start spraying all over the model. You'd be faster. It means more cleanup later, but it's not like you don't have to clean up anyway. So, but that's how you do a single layer and how to do a single model. If you've made it this far, thanks very much for watching. There's another couple of videos there you can click on. You can click on the subscribe button if you want to, like the video if you want to, stick a comment down if you've anything to say, and in the meantime, happy wargaming, and I'll see you next time.